Completely packed does not even begin to describe what my car is right now. There are so many comics in here, so many graphic novels. Time to get this home and see what's in there. What's up, comic book community? Joe here with another episode of 360 Comics. Before we get into the video, note to self, don't stack up graphic novels in your car on top of boxes because when you move, they will slide around and hit you in the head. Lesson learned. Anyway, I picked up what is probably the best modern collection of comic books that I have ever picked up, and there was even a little bit of copper and bronze hidden in there too. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. This book right here is going to be the giveaway prize for the month of March right here on YouTube. So if you want to win this graded copy of Fantastic Four number 59, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. You can check out our other videos from the month of March, like them, and leave a comment on them for additional entries. And while you're at it, go give us a follow over on Instagram because we're giving away a copy of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends number 1 as part of our 9,000 follower giveaway over there. Good luck with all this. Also, one more thing to note, Back Deck Comic Fest was supposed to be tomorrow. Unfortunately, it is getting very cold tonight and snowing, which is turning into raining all day tomorrow, so I have postponed it. Back Deck Comic Fest will now be Saturday, April 15th, same time, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you live in the Philadelphia area, mark your calendar, Saturday, April 15th, Back Deck Comic Fest. And 2 weeks from now is King Con over in Isla, New Jersey, and I hope to see you there. All right, my car is stuffed to the gills. You can see graphic novels down there, ton of boxes. In fact, 20 long boxes, absolutely filled to the top, completely packed in. Tons more graphics, hardback. Yeah, I've got a fuzzy pink steering wheel, so what? Whew. Taking this big haul home. All right, we got this home. We got this up in the comic room, and we condensed it down to 21 long boxes from the original 23. And check this out. Actually, one of the long boxes does have a sticker from my LCS, Brave New Worlds. Really cool little piece of history right there from 2006. Oh, man, can't wait to go through this stuff. As you can see, this collection was pretty big, so I can't show you everything. I pulled out some of the best books to show you. We got about 50 or 60 here, and of course, I am saving the best of the best for last, so stay tuned until the end. Let's kick it off now with Batman number 567. This is the first appearance of Cassandra Cain. She is in costume on the cover, but she does not appear in costume in this issue. At least I don't think she does. I think that is like Legend of the Dark Knight number 120 or something like that. We're going to continue through the DC stuff right now with this guy right here, a book that has popped so much recently, Batman number 655, the first cameo appearance of Damian Wayne. In continuity, there obviously was the graphic novel from back in the 80s, but this is kind of the book that people chase. And of course, going right along with that is his first full appearance in the very next issue, number 656. In my opinion, and in the opinion of the market, the previous book has the better cover and usually ends up holding a little bit more value because of that. Then we got Batman Long Halloween number 1. This is a book I've never found in a collection. Really, really happy to have it, though, because, you know, this is one of my favorite Batman stories and might be a contender to send in. Again, this one, a beautiful copy of Vengeance of Bane number 1, probably a contender. Might end up sending this in to CGC myself. First appearance of Bane, all that, and almost every time you find this book in a collection, you find this one as well. Despite them being a couple years apart, we've got The Killing Joke, and this is a first print. You can tell by the color down there. This one's green. Check Key Collector, they have a list of all the different printings, and the first print actually isn't the most expensive. The last print is the one that's really hard to find because it has the smallest print run. I assume it's the smallest print run. Anyway, we got Batman number 6 from the New 52 run. first appearance in full of the Court of Owls. A lot of people speculating that the Matt Reeves universe is going to go, less supernatural, more along the lines of characters like the Court of Owls. So I really hope so. I love this run. Scott Snyder is a genius. Anyway, moving on, we got Batman Superman now. This is issue number 8. This is the reintroduction of Supergirl, Kara, who we know now is showing up in the Flash movie that's coming out later this year. I don't know about you, but I am so excited by the trailer of that movie. I'm not much of a Flash guy. I'm not even that much of a DC guy outside of the Bat family, but that movie has me stoked, and it's going to be a nice turning point for the new DC universe that we're going to be getting after that. Anyway, along with this is what I believe to be the second printing of the book, which is the sketch cover, and there was also a third printing with a different cover entirely. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that this is not a variant, but rather a second printing. Could be wrong about that, though, so definitely let me know in the comments if that is the false information. Next up, we got this book right here. This is, again, another book that I've never found in a collection. This is Superman Batman issue number 4, and this, annual number 4, and this is the first in-continuity appearance of Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond. There's a little discrepancy because there is a character called Batman Beyond in issue, I think it's 21 and 22 of this run, but that one is an alternate universe Tim Drake that becomes Batman. This one is Terry McGinnis, the actual Batman Beyond from, the television show, the comic run, all that stuff. Really hope we see a Batman Beyond property at some point. This one got a little bit of bump this week, I think. We've heard some news, not really news, but Michael B. Jordan was being interviewed, and they asked him about Val-Zod because this is a character that he has shown interest in, and his PR person off camera said, we can't talk about that. So fingers crossed that something is in the works there, and they just haven't hammered out all the details yet. They're keeping it under wraps. But yeah, this is the first appearance of Val-Zod, Earth 2, number 19. Great book from this run to pick up. And I actually had the whole Earth 2 run. Actually, most of this stuff, it was like in full run. So I'm really happy about that. Next, we got Justice League number 31. This is the first full appearance of Jessica Cruz, and I almost said Jessica Jones. I feel like I mess their names up all the time. This one's Jessica Cruz, a Green Lantern character, and one that people have been speculating on, a little bit more diversity into the characters and stuff. They may utilize her at some point. We will see. We know we're getting a Lantern show pretty soon in the next couple years, so hopefully that is done well. Then we got Infinite Crisis number 5, first appearance of Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle. This is the cover you want. This is the Jim Lee cover. There is a George Perez cover, and it's funny because usually you want the George Perez cover. In this case, you don't, because Blue Beetle is on the front of this one, and he's not on the front of the other one. And the last DC book, until we get to the end, because I think there's a DC book at the end as well. This is Green Lantern number 48, first appearance of Kyle Rayner, another Green Lantern character, and a one that, pretty much anyone in my age group that grew up in the 90s reading Green Lantern and reading that run, this is probably the character that you're into. I know a lot of my friends and people my age are really, really into the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. Even though he wasn't, the first or the most prominent or anything like that. Moving on, we're going to some Spider-Man stuff next. How about issue number 136? This was, I think, the oldest book in the collection. There was no Silver Age and very few Bronze books, just a couple here and there. And then like a decent chunk of Copper, but it was almost all books from the 2000s. And in fact, from 2000 to 2013, that is when the majority of books from this collection were released. That probably is when that guy was buying comics the most, which, makes sense. If those were, the years you were buying, you ended up with all those books. And I'll tell you, it was most of the really good keys. So stay tuned to the end to see those. But anyway, let's get back to this. This is the first appearance of Harry Osborn as Green Goblin, taking over after his father was killed, or rather, kind of killed himself accidentally. like a dozen issues, a little over a dozen issues before. Great cover, awesome Bronze Age book, and, a pretty significant key there. Also, hopping way ahead, we got some more Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 529, first appearance of the Iron Spider armor. We've seen this in the MCU. It played a really pivotal role in, Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame. So, this is definitely going to be a staple comic book going forward. It got really hot, came down quite a bit, and I think it's kind of really leveled out to a reasonable market price at this point. Moving up a bunch more issues, we got issue number, 569? It is 569. This is the first appearance of Anti-Venom. Unfortunately, it is not the cover with Anti-Venom on the cover or the second printing, which is really expensive, but this one still definitely holds value. It's just a variant cover with Venom on the front. Definitely a great key to have, even though it's not the best of the covers. Speaking of great covers, we've got some J. Scott Campbell goodness. This is, what is this? 606. 606. There was no 601 in this collection. Actually, there was a 601, which is that Mary Jane sitting down on the couch cover, but the copy in this collection was actually the variant cover, which does not have that J. Scott Campbell image on it, unfortunately. Nonetheless, this is still a really great cover. And also the next issue, I think this is the next issue, 607? Yeah, 607. This is an even more coveted J. Scott Campbell Black Cat cover. This one I've never found in a collection before, so happy to have that as well. And then the last of the Spidey books right here, we've got Web of Spider-Man 118, first appearance of Scarlet Spider. Ben Reilly, who does show up a couple times prior to this, including way back in the 1970s. But this is where he first dons the costume and calls himself Scarlet Spider. Perfect being right on the cover. This is a book that I love, grew up with this stuff, so really happy to have another copy of that. And that one might be a contender, might go off and get graded, and might stay in the personal collection if I get that 9.8. Moving over to some mutant stuff here, we got Wolverine #1 from the ongoing series from 1988. Really, really sharp copy of Wolverine #1 right here. And then we've got another Wolverine book, Origins #10. This is not the third claw variant where there is a third claw coming out of the hand, which is much more expensive. But this is the first appearance of Wolverine's son, Daken, or I've heard it pronounced Daken. I've always said Daken. You can let me know in the comments below which one it is if you know for sure. But I go with Daken. That's just me. Anyway, another Wolverine key here. This is Wolverine number 66. What number are you? 66. First appearance of Old Man Logan. If you haven't seen that movie yet, Logan, it is phenomenal. That is a rewatch all day movie. Love it. Laura Kinney's in it. They're just great. That really should have capped the entire Fox thing. I wish that had been like the last movie. That would have been a great send-off, but hey, it is what it is. They put out some other movies after that. But nonetheless, that one is a great one. This one, not really an expensive book, but I think it's pretty significant just because it is the first appearance of Omega Red, a pretty prominent character, although the value of this book is definitely held down by the massive print run. Really nice, sharp copy, though, so I felt like showing it off in this video. And then we got X Factor #24, the first appearance of Archangel. This is, how I grew up knowing this character, having been born in 1990 and, growing up through the animated series and seeing Archangel portrayed like this. I even had an Archangel action figure. So, Angel really wasn't even a thing to me when I was a kid. In fact, the first time I, saw the original Angel, I thought it was a totally different character than this one right here. But hey, anyway, moving on, we're going with New X-Men #128, first appearance of Phantom X. This is a book that I've been talking about quite a bit because I think this is a character they should absolutely utilize. Really, really cool character. Definitely a cool presentation, physical appearance as well as, abilities and stuff. So, I just hope to see it on the screen at some point, and a character that's never been utilized. Speaking of characters that are probably coming to the screen, we got Astonishing X-Men #6. This is the first appearance of Abigail Brand. Land. This book has been spoken about recently. There's been casting rumors. I don't know if any of those are actually true or if they're just rumors, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think the rumor was the character showing up in Secret Invasion. So, I mean, that's pretty soon. We'll have to wait and see, though. Moving on to some more miscellaneous Marvel stuff. We've got Hulk #1 from 2008. I call this Red Hulk #1 just to signify that it is the Red Hulk run. First appearance of Red Hulk. He's really only on the cover. Doesn't show up until issue #2, but this is the book to have. Great cover, and a book that's kind of went through the waves of huge comic boom spike, calm down, then there's some news, calm down again. We'll see what happens, but it seems as though this character will be showing up in the form of Harrison Ford after he took over the role from John Hurt after his passing. Another Hulk book here, we got World War Hulk #5. This is the first cameo appearance of Scar, son of Hulk, who has already shown up in the MCU. This tends to be more expensive than Scar, son of Hulk #1, which is his first full appearance. Don't know why that cameo is more expensive. Maybe because there's less of this book than, a #1. I don't know. But that probably has something to do with it. I've never checked the census. This one I'm stoked about. Never found this book in a collection before. Captain America #6, Brubaker goodness, and the first appearance of Winter Soldier, a character that has become immensely popular in the MCU for good reason. That they've done so much good stuff at, as far as fleshing out a backup character to make them significant, and the character's still around and going to be sticking around for a while, showing up in the Thunderbolts movie. Let's keep it going here with some more Fantastic Four, rather the first Fantastic Four book. This is Ultimate Fantastic Four #22, the first appearance of the Marvel Zombies. They're not on the cover of this one, but they are on the cover of the next issue, which was also in there, but this book does hold the most value, despite them not being on the cover. Then we got Daredevil #9, first appearance of Echo. She's been here. She's getting her own show. She's probably going to be in Daredevil Born Again as well. I think she is here to stay, and I really like this character. Really enjoyed the portrayal by, I forgot her name. I might be pronouncing this wrong. Alankwa? I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name. Anyway, great MCU casting of this character, and I'm excited to see more. Moving on to another character that kind of has been rumored in the MCU. This is the first appearance of Jessica Jones, Alias #1. And look at that. I didn't say Jessica Cruz. I'm really proud of myself. I'm batting 1,000 on this video so far. And someone's going to point out to me that I said something else wrong, but hey, it is what it is. This book, I had never picked this up in a collection before until a few weeks ago when I did. And look at that. I've got a second copy from a different collection now. This character was on the Netflix show, had her own show, Defenders, as well. And then there's been rumors that the actress, Kristen Ritter, will be coming back. I don't know. We'll see. The only confirmations we have right now are Charlie Cox, John Bernthal, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Those three are 100% at this point. Everyone else is kind of up in the air, but as I always say, we will have to wait and see. This next one, I didn't recognize this 100% at first because this is the variant cover, which is actually a little bit more expensive. This is Marvel .1 #1. First appearance of Sam Alexander, the new Nova. There's been talk of us getting a Nova project. I'm pretty sure it's locked in at this point, but we don't have any announcements about which Nova or when it's coming out or anything like that. But I'm thinking they could utilize both Richard Rider and Sam Alexander. They'll probably do more than one of those characters, but as I've been saying, only time will tell. And next, we got the last two indie books before we get to the more expensive stuff. So these two are indies. Then we got, I think, the 13 or 14 best books. This one's Spawn #1. It's in every collection you ever buy. Ever, usually multiple copies. There was only one in this collection, but hey, it is what it is. Spawn #1, and then we've got this one right here, Watchmen #1. I have never found this book in a collection. Would you believe that? Like, such a popular title. It has never been in a collection that I bought, but I'm stoked to have this one. That's for sure. This might actually stay PC. I got to check out the condition of it because it might be a higher grade than the one I currently own. And now we're on to the good stuff. First up in the good stuff, the only indie book that I'm going to show off at the end here. This is Lock and Key #1. This book not only had a Netflix show and is written by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son, but it also had a really low print run. I think like 5,000 copies or something like that. So this is a hard indie book to find. Hard is relative. Obviously, there are some books out there from the golden age that there's like a handful of copies on the census. Obviously, this one probably has hundreds of copies on the census, maybe even like 1,000, but there were so few printed that most copies are probably graded at this point. I don't know, but harder to find for a modern book, let's put it that way. I just don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers about me saying things are rare or scarce when there's a lot of them out there. Next, we got Batman number 635, first appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. One of my favorite modern books as far as Batman goes. Great cover featuring the character, and one that I hope shows up. We saw this character in Titans, the HBO Max show. I thought that portrayal was great. I would love to see more, either from the same actor or a different actor. But, we're going to have to see what happens with that whole Brave and the Bold thing. Then we got Incredible Hulk number 340 classic cover. I don't even need to talk about this book. In fact, this book has been in like the last 3 or 4 big collections that I've bought. So I'm happy to be finding that because that is a very coveted book. Then we got a book. I showed this one in the beginning very briefly. Amazing Spider-Man number 252, first appearance of the black symbiote suit, and classic homage cover, all that stuff. Definitely some great 80s goodness. This was like at kind of the turn of the ages between the bronze as they were moving into the copper age. I guess this would be considered late bronze. But yeah, it's very, very close to being, in the copper age. Very few bronze, like I said, but there were some copper books, like this one right here. Amazing Spider-Man 316, the first cover or first full cover appearance of Venom. Todd McFarlane goodness right here. You can't go wrong with that. Really, really classic cover at this point that's been homaged a bunch. And then we got Carnage, of course. That's going to be in every modern collection. This one did not have a ton from the 90s. Was definitely more focused on the 2000s, like I said, 2000 to 2013. But first appearance of Carnage, you know what it is. Really common book, but because the demand is so high, even with a massive supply, this book still holds some really nice value. Then we're moving on. Showed this one off in the beginning as well. This is the second appearance of Miles Morales. Ultimate Comics, All New Spider-Man #1. Not only is it the second appearance of the character, but it's also his first ongoing solo title, whatever you want to call it, and a phenomenal cover. This book comes polybagged, so if you do get it, you want to make sure you press that polybag crease out before you get it graded. This copy was not polybagged when I got it. Next, we got, I lied. I said there was only one indie book. There's this one as well. Dark Horse's Star Wars Heir to the Empire #1. In fact, it had the entire run of Heir to the Empire, which I am excited about. This is the first appearance of General Thrawn and the first appearance of Mara Jade. Characters that will almost certainly show up in live action at some point, especially Thrawn. Like, I can't imagine them not utilizing. It's like him and Dr. Aphra are the two characters that really have been underutilized from other properties that haven't been in live action yet. So waiting to see when that happens. This is a great book, great cover, all that stuff. And then we got this right here. We've got Young Avengers #1. First appearance of the Young Avengers, including, Iron Lad and Hulkling and whatever. But most importantly, I would assume most importantly, the first appearance of Kate Bishop, who becomes the new Hawkeye, who is currently becoming the new Hawkeye in the MCU. This book went way up and way down, but I have high hopes for the future because I think that the casting was great, and I'm really excited to see more of Kate Bishop on the screen. And now we have the last 5 books, in my opinion, the best 5 books, certainly monetarily the best 5 books as well. So let's kick it off with an Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, the first appearance of Spider-Gwen, aka Gwen Stacy, aka in this issue she's known as Spider-Woman. Her name shortly thereafter does change to Spider-Gwen, and they also use the term Ghost Spider for this character as well in both comics and the animation. So yeah, I mean, this book speaks for itself. It's a major modern key, as are these next bunch of books. Actually, I lied. Two of them are copper. Oh, one of them might be bronze. Anyway, this is definitely a major modern key as well. NYX number 3, first appearance of Laura Kinney, aka X-23, and yeah, again, this book speaks for itself. One of the biggest heavy hitter modern books. It's really, for Marvel, these 2 books and this next one. Ultimate Fallout number 4. You probably guessed this was in here by all that we saw so far. Literally like the grail, the blue chipest of modern books. Now, we have seen this book go way up and again way down. It is selling in a 9.8 for less than half of its all-time high. But at the same time, it is the quintessential modern book. And at this point, the 1 in 25 Derjevic variant in a 9.8 is the most expensive modern book. It has overtaken that Dell'Otto variant at this point. So, yeah, it's, it's Miles. He's so popular, really, with almost everyone. Kids that are just getting into this stuff now, my 6-year-old nephew, they love Miles. People my age love Miles. A lot of the older crowd loves Miles. People gave this character a chance after having Peter Parker for, 50 years. And, as it turned out, they can do another Spider-Man and do that character really, really well. 2 more books, though. We're not done yet. We're going back. I guess this would be 1983. So this would be the very end of the Bronze Age, depending on where you cut it off. Amazing Spider-Man 238, first appearance of one of my favorite characters of all time, Hobgoblin, one of my favorite covers of all time. And guess what? This copy does have the tattoos. It is complete. You got to look out for that. Most of the copies that you find out there, the tattoos were torn out. And that being said, reduces the value of the book quite a bit. This one, all good to go with those tattoos, and I'm happy about that. First time, I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever found this book in the wild with tattoos. I found it maybe like 5 or 6 times in different, collections, maybe even like 7 times, but this is definitely the first time I found it with the tattoos. At least I think. I'm gonna have to look back at my old videos to see. The very last book. You probably are thinking about this book. You're thinking that we saw 252. You're thinking we saw 316. And I bet you can guess now that I'm talking about it what this next book is. It's Amazing Spider-Man 300. The first appearance of Venom. Todd McFarlane goodness. Absolutely classic cover. One of the most homaged covers of all time. Yeah, I don't need to say anything else about this book. Some of you are going to say second appearance of Venom. Okay. First full appearance. I called $2.99 a cameo, but hey, you don't have to agree with me, but the market agrees. This is the chase book. This is the expensive one. This is the one to pick up, whether it's because it's a milestone or the classic cover or, the fact that Venom appears in full, yada, yada, yada. This is the book. Very, very happy to find this. This is the second time I've found this in a collection. I've owned a couple copies that I've, traded for or bought and stuff, but I found 2 copies in the same collection once, and then this one. So 3rd copy, but 2nd time I found it in a collection. Great stuff. This guy actually had a nice run of ASM, starting with this issue. Almost every issue all the way up into the 400s, the low 400s. Wasn't all the way to the end of the run, which goes until 441, but it went into the 400s. There were, some missing patches and stuff like that, but it was pretty solid. Most of the McFarlane and the Larson stuff. But yeah, great modern collection. Even some, bronze and copper goodies. I did very well on this. I ended up paying, I'll let you think about it. I'll give you 5 seconds. What do you think I paid on this? Here we go. Okay. So, now, this might seem low just because I talked a lot about the 9.8 prices, and we're not sure if these are 9.8. So I have to assume that risk. I can't be paying, half of what a 9.8 is worth for a lot of these books because we don't know if they're going to get 9.8s. You got to pay, a fraction of raw prices. I paid $2,500 for this collection. I think I did very well. There is a lot of bulk. Now, keep in mind that most of this stuff was from the 2000s. Most of those books are not, it's not like the filler issues are $5, $10, like if you bought bronze and silver age stuff. The filler issues are going to be mostly dollar bin stuff. That being said, there are a lot of like complete runs or mostly complete runs, so I should be able to do really well as far as selling them off in groups. It is going to take a long time to sell the books from this collection. Definitely a lot of the ones I showed you in the video need to get cleaned, pressed, sent off for grading. There's additional fees that go with that, bags and boards and all that stuff, and a lot of time. So, keep that in mind. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, that's a steal of a price. A lot goes into it. It is not as simple as me, taking these books and immediately selling them for, double, triple, whatever it may be. There's a lot of work that goes into that. So, keep that in mind, and fingers crossed, put some wishes out there in the universe for me that some of these get really good grades. 9.8s. This, most of the bronze stuff, those are not 9.8 candidates, but they're probably still worth grading. The bronze and the copper stuff, but a lot of the modern stuff, definitely candidates, and even in a 9.6, a lot of those books are pretty good. So we'll have to wait and see. A lot of this stuff will be up for grabs and claim sales if it's stuff that I'm not sending off to CGC, but you got to hang out there. And speaking of claim sales, tonight at 8 o'clock, that's Friday night, 8 p.m. on Instagram, I'll be doing a claim sale, and I'll also be doing one tomorrow night. Since there's no Back Deck Comic Fest tomorrow, I decided to do 2 claim sales this weekend. So Friday night and Saturday night, I'll probably start both at 8 p.m. And catch me there. Might even do one Sunday. We're going to see how I feel. But until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.